Good evening. Welcome to this evening conversation. My name is Maazị Ezeoke. As you all know, in the last couple of months, and in the last couple of weeks, a lot has happened within the Nigerian political space. And a lot of things, as you are be as you know, as you also are aware, has happened within what some people would tag within the Nigerian political and ethnic space. There has been some insinuations, there's been some argument that many does not like and does not find palatable, and the narratives that are being pushed are very dangerous to the Nigerian society. Today, I have a man with me, Pamson Dagyat. As many of you will know him, he is a pioneer statistician in Plateau State. Pamson also was a former commissioner in that same state. And today, he is the national coordinator for PeterObi, Coalition for PeterObi, and the national coordinator for SaMBA. I have the privilege here today to have this conversation with this individual. Pamson, you're welcome to Njinji Media TV.
Mazi, it's good to be here.
Thank you very much, Pamson. Let's go. Let's quickly get to the topic this evening. Obviously, as many people know, a lot, like I said at the beginning, has been happening here. The topic today says Northerners responding to Mahdi Shehu's comment on, his comment on ethnic that has driven the ethnic division in Nigeria. When you look at this comment by this individual, many people have responded to him. Many Northerners, like yourself, has also responded to him. You wear two caps. You are a Christian from the North Central, where he was addressing the youth of the North Central, telling them that no one would allow them buy land to build their churches in the South. However, before we go deeper into that conversation, I want to ask you a question. You are the national coordinator of the Coalition for PeterObi, the obedient movement that we see across the nation is powered under your leadership. Can you tell us more about what actually happened in Abuja yesterday and what we saw in Kaduna and in Kano? Last couple of weeks, or rather last month, we also saw you, the one event that happened in Plateau State, where you specifically spearheaded the endorsement of PeterObi by 250 ethnic nationalities in Plateau. All these things happening. Why and how do you do that?
Okay, thank you, Mazi. It's not far-fetched. When that's PeterObi, came out to aspire for the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the political gladiators that took it for granted and rather they felt he's a jester. And the common norm then is that he doesn't have a structure. The party he is coming out from is foreign or is not well known by the Nigerian people. So they kind of round up his aspiration as a joke. Now, it is on the premise of that Nigerians who sees him as a different political player decided to prove that he is not alone, decided to wake up to the fact that Nigeria needs a significant change and a deviation from the old ways of doing things. So that resonated in the minds of especially the younger generation and the progressive in Nigeria, regardless of age, regardless of religion, regardless of other mundane divide that used to divide us. So people now came together and now said, well, if his problem is about structures and politics is about people, and if people are the structures, then let's visibly show that we We are existing and we are behind him, and we will make the structure that is absent. It was on that premise that support groups that came out in their various numbers, made up of different ramifications of individuals, from even the political players to professionals, students, and young men and women who desire a total change, came together, formed different support groups around him, and decided to visibly tell those political gladiators of old that there is a new sheriff in town, and that they have already come out to prove that they are the structure, and the structure is viable, and the structure will deliver. I think that is what you saw happening across the country. And it's not stopping there. This is just a tip of the iceberg, just to let them know there is a structure. But the massive mobilization that will take place with the opening of the political space will shock this country. It's not only Nigeria that we have a change in the old ways of doing things. Even in Africa, some states like Tanzania, some other places, you see a total change. And then people are now taking their fate into their hands. And of
There was a slight interruption there. Can you hear me?
very well.
Oh, okay. I think there was slight interruption, but nonetheless, I think you've made a very succinct point here. Now, there is a point that I did ask that you didn't touch on, and that was the endorsement of His Excellency PeterObi by 250 ethnic nationalities in the North. How did you come about that endorsement? I also, it must be also right to put on notice here that you are the national coordinator of SaMBA, which is the Southern and the Middle Belt Alliance. How come you were able to assemble 250 various ethnic nationality in order to give such endorsement?
Well, it equally is on the same backdrop that we need a change, and we need a change that makes sense. Now, the geographical North that everyone is aware or familiar with is made up of 19 states. Now, in this geographical North, the dynamics is very clear, and it's only the blind that cannot really decipher that. The North is not predominantly a Hausa Fulani dominated environment. The North has its marketing lingua, the Hausa, because you must transact business using a particular lingua. And the lingua that is much easier and much more frequently used is the Hausa. So that connotation gave a wrong perception from people who are not in the North to feel that all the people here are Hausas or they are Fulanis. Now, within the North, there are, in the total space of about 300 square kilometers, are ethnic nationalities. They are small ethnic nationalities, and they are approximately 230 in number. These ethnic nationalities that exist in this particular geographical space of about 300 square kilometers speak different languages. Their culture is distinct. Their ruling system is distinct. So these people have, over the years, since the amalgamation or since the coming of the colonial, been shouting loud and clear that they are a different people and they should be treated differently. In 1957, they forced the Europeans to put up a commission, which is called the Winning Commission. And in that commission, they are saying that they should be treated as Middle Belters. That's the unique identity they want to call themselves. And their reason is that within the space of Nigeria, they spread within the middle geographical space from the east to the west. So they are now saying that, please give us our identity. Now, over the years, this identity has been suppressed by some political.
I think again, your device is frozen again, obviously, for obvious reason. The reason why your device is frozen, I believe that is as a result of the internet connection. And that is one of the things that people are fighting to see that is fixed. So thank you. I think you're back again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me make that point very clear.
I don't know if it is calls that were interrupting you. Please, if that be the case, uh, now I think I've lost you there, Pamson.
And you people are disturbing me.
Pamson, I've lost you. I've lost you there. Okay, you are back now.
Can you see me now?
Yes, I
Yes.
can. I think there was an interruption there. So can you
Yes, I
can you
don't.
make that point again?
Okay, I was trying to say that presently, these 230 ethnic nationalities found out that they are suffering from existential threat. There is like a grand scheme to take over their land. It's like there is a grand scheme to move them out of existence based on the multiple of attacks in their to their communities and their homes. So, because of this existential threat, they decided to now start looking differently. Look, since 1960, we've been asking for an identity, and it's like people are not seeing it. Now, it's not only an identity we are seeking for, we need to survive as a people. So, a dispensation came forward where government is supposed to move based on whatever arrangement there are, but for fairness, equity, we felt that after an 8 years of a northern leadership, the leadership should go to the south. And in our own quest, our leaders felt that we need to create a relationship with the south, especially that's we the middle belters, these minority ethnic nationalities I'm referring to. So they formed a group which they call the
SaMBA.
Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum, headed by Edwin Clark. The Middle Belt Forum is representing the Middle Belt. Ohaneze is representing the Eastern Bloc. Pandep is representing the South-South blocks, and Afenefere representing them. So it is in that particular sitting that Middle Belt were clear that we are supporting the South for the presidency. And because of that, we need to show it with action. Now that we have narrowed our search to somebody we believe that would be fair to all concerned, we're not asking him to come and just favor the middle belt. No, we are saying that we need a president that will be fair to all concerned, that we guarantee our existence as a people. So we decided to feel that the best way approach to this is to get all the ethnic nationalities together. We got their leadership together, and then we held a conference in Jos, and that is the conference you are referring to. And in that conference, we were very, very clear, unequivocally clear, that we are putting our support behind PeterObi, and not only that, the issue of the presidency to southern Nigeria is not negotiable. It has been the stance of our elders, and we, the professionals and the younger generation, or the much more younger generation, we are behind our elders in that particular position, and that is what took place in Jos.
Wow, that's a very good, interesting narrative to know. Now, let me come back to another question that I touched on when we started this program. There is this obedient movement being galvanized and happening everywhere. Many people watching now may not know the role you are playing as the coordinator of all the support groups supporting P2B organizing this. You are the engine head, you are the arrowhead there. However, the events that happened yesterday, there was movements in Abuja, there was Kanu, there was Kaduna, but there was no movement. Even according to what we heard, the research we had, we have on our desk, you guys applied for permit in order to have that protest in Kwara. But 6 hours, that is early hours of yesterday, you got a notice from the Commissioner of Police, whom they said the governor gave specific order and instruction to ensure that march didn't happen in Kwara State. Now, listening to this, what is your view and what's your take? Does the police have the right to keep stopping such peaceful rally from happening in a state? Or should Nigerians be worried if state governors are now getting involved in trying to stop people from exercising their civic right?
Well, my take in that is just simple. It's like the security forces, especially the police, are overzealous over nothing. Their responsibility as a civil order organization is to make sure where a significant number of people are gathered, without even a letter of notification, they are supposed to make available their boots on ground to ensure
issue. I think the net. I think the network issue is dealing with us again, but I will try to bring back. Okay, so let me bring you back. The network issue took you out again. Can you complete your thoughts on that, please? Pamson, can you hear me? Hello, Pamson. Obviously, the network is not playing with us this evening, and many of you can hear me loud and clear. But my good brother, who is joining us from Plateau State, Nigeria, from the Middle Belt, obviously. Okay, I think Pamson, you're back. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Let me finish my point with respect to the police trying to put some roadblocks on our visibility show of force. The point here is that the police don't even need to be notified of any particular gathering. It is their responsibility, based on their intelligence, where a significant number of people are meeting. They make their presence available to ensure that there's no disruption to law and order. So it is mere courtesy if citizens decided to notify them that, look, they will be having so meetings, so they needed them to be there. It is a civil responsibility. We have even gone out of board just to show that we are an organized citizens and we are not intent, because if we were doing something criminal, we will not even notify them. That's obvious. But when a citizen who are law-abiding notify them that, look, we are having this occasion, their own responsibility is to let that system happen, and then they provide the necessary security, because that is what they are paid for. They are paid from taxpayers' money, and that is a responsibility that they must act judiciously without fear or favor. Now, what we notice is that before now, it was clear that Obi is of no consequence as far as the political equation is concerned. But they are beginning to get the message that Obi's structure is solid and is everywhere. And they are now trying to use security in order to change that narrative. But I can assure you, of all the support groups, more than 2,000 support groups across this country that have national links, some have regional network, some have statewide network, some community network. We are not shaking, we are not going back. We are doing what we know is right within the ambit of the law. And I believe that the security forces, please, they should do what is expected of them. Ensure that no laws are broken. And with what we are doing, we are not breaking any law. In the first instance, why will Kwara be saying that there shouldn't be a march? March were held in the west, in the east, in the south, in the northeast, in the northwest. So Here in North Central, where Kwara is part of it, we held a rally here in Jos. So what was the basis? It is absolutely baseless, and I'm sure that it will not hold. We will hold our rallies peacefully and obeying the law.
Thank you very much for that response. Now let's come to narratives here. You know, I believe you may have watched this video. Let me play this video that was going to give us a foot to get into narrative that have been said over and over again. Then I want to get your response.
My northern Christian brothers and sisters, specifically for you. Why? Because if you go to the south, to the southeast, to the southwest, a Christian from northern part of Nigeria is a northerner. Simple. If there are breakdown of land orders in Enugu, they kill everybody, whether a Muslim or Christian coming from the north. This is the record that is on ground. Nobody can deny this. Christians of northern extraction, think wisely, act wisely, behave wisely. You have no business voting a southern candidate based on Christianity. At the end of the day, his agenda is not you. His agenda is his own tribe. If you pick Obi, his agenda is not Christianity. He could be a fantastic Catholic. But below the Catholicism, he is a die-hard Biafran. If you vote Obi, you are voting for Biafra. No missing of the words. If you vote for Biafra, you are voting for the destruction of the North. Tell me, a Christian from Taraba, Nasarawa.
Now, here, he mentioned the North, and he narrowed it down to the North Central, or the new nomenclature that is known as the Middle Belt. And you are seated here as the coordinator of the national coordinator of the Southern and the Middle Belt Alliance, called SaMBA. What then is your view, sitting down, listening to people like Mahdi? Does people like Mahdi really represent the views of the North? Do they represent the views of the Middle Belt in the North's quote-unquote Northern nomenclature?
Well, when I was watching it, and I watched it more than thrice, and it amuses me, but there is a history to it. And until you understand this history, you will not be able to situate what Mahdi is talking about. Now, let's start this way. In 1960, after the amalgamation of the North and the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate, but even before the amalgamation, the Northern Protectorate as it is, the Middle Belters requested for an identity, and that was the essence of the Wheeling Commission in 1957. Now, we didn't get that commission to really identify us for who we are. Then, 3 years down the line, there was an amalgamation of the Northern and the Southern Protectorate. And at that point, there was an election for the First Republic. In that election, the North, the core North, under they had their party, which is the NNDC, while we, the Middle Belters, we had our own party, which we call the United Middle Belt Congress. So clearly, even at that period, it tells you that we are not one North as is being the cliché that is going on that particular perspective. But what changed? That is the question we should ask ourselves, and it's still historic. There was a coup in 6 years within the political experience of the First Republic. In that coup, Northerners were killed. And unfortunately, for whatever is the reason, the most highly ranking Northern military man, which is Lieutenant Colonel Pam, is from my ethnic nationality. My name is Pam, so you can understand. He's from my ethnic nationality. So with that particular coup, it was glaring that anybody up the Niger were victims of that coup. And that brought the issue of the counter coup. And in that counter coup, in order to appease us, the Middle Belters, Gowon, from the same state with Lieutenant Colonel Pam, was made the president, just to appease the Middle Belters. Because we do not...
Sorry, was that only to appease? The coup was led by the Middle Belt as well. Because
Correct.
General T.Y. Danjuma, who led that coup, is also from the Middle Belt.
Correct. That's what I'm trying to explain. That it was a middle, because when that coup took place, since we go to the same church with these individuals, but when the coup took place, we were equally victims. So it became an easy way to create a bond between the Arewa Hausa Fulani and the Middle Belters. That look, oh, it is us that are up this Niger that are being killed. Oh. So that bond was what started this relationship that went into the Shagari regime. At that point, we, the Middle Belters, refused to relate with the North because Shagari was in NPN. We realized that our closeness and our bond is more with the South, and that is why we went for NPP. Unfortunately, the problem we face is not the Arewa Hausa Fulani, nor our problem, because what we did during the counter coup was to redeem who we are, because we felt that our own sons were killed unjustly. But unfortunately, the South, based on that counter coup arrangement, felt that we are in the same pot of soup with those other guys. And because of that, they keep seeing us as Northerners at that point. And that is the cliché that has been going on. And because of that coup, they will keep telling you that, okay, we are better. They will kill us because we are together. But we still go to church with these people from the South. And we, even in the voting, we vote with the people from the South.
Well, hold on. Yeah, but yes. Hold on. You see, you're just explaining this narrative. But even up to today, when you talk about Solomon Law, when you talk about all those people that have headed the Northern Elders Forum, they always want to pick someone from the Middle Belt. And the question is the Middle Belt not given the core North the impetus to always project themselves as, okay, these people are with us. They are actually our leaders. Who is the leader of the Northern Elder Forum? Who is the leader of the Arewa Consultative Forum? Isn't that an orchestrated plot?
Okay, and let me explain something there. I think we need to get that thing very clear.
Yes, please.
With the advent of that narration that I was trying to let you understand, we traced back our step during the democratic era in order to create a bond with the South. And that is why you find out that Solomon Law was elected under the NPP. We even made inroads to the Arewa North and got Abubakar Rimi to come and join us to create a new narrative with the South to have a bond. The biggest problem we are facing is that the South have not yet understood that in the North, the geographical space, the North, there are two categories of individuals. There are the Arewa Hausa Fulani, who are very clear, and by their population, they are more predominantly Muslim. But we have a significant number of Christians there. While in the Middle Belt, we have ethnic nationalities that are minority as far as ethnicity is concerned. But in their population, they are significantly Christians. So that dichotomy, the South couldn't understand that and create that brotherly bond or brotherhood. So since they are not accepting us, all through the political terrain, we still create that relationship with the North, because politics is about number. If this other guy is not ready to accept you, you have to create a partnership where you will be able to get the number and be part of government. But what we are saying is that this time, the Middle Belters realize that we are going all out to force our brotherhood with the South, whether they want us or not. We are forcing them to understand, or we are creating this marriage by force. And that is the essence of the SaMBA and the Southern and Middle Belt Elders Forum. We are making them to understand who we are. We want that brotherhood to be established between us and them. Otherwise, this cliché that used to be that we are not and we were killed together during the coup, so we are supposed to be together, which is what Mahdi is selling. This particular cycle of politicking, where you use religion and you use ethnicity and you use geographical space to divide the people, is already dead on arrival, because the people he is talking about, whether or not we cannot have churches in the South, already we have, and we can count them. Cooking Church has and their headquarters is here in Jos. It's more or less like a traditional church. EYN is more or less like a traditional church around Adamawa area. So, but we have churches in the South. So that is not holding water. What he failed to understand is that there is a change in the psyche of the Middle Belters. And we are forcing our relationship with the South. We are the bride, but instead of the South coming to woo us, we are the bride going to the South to tell them we are here, marry us. And that is what is happening. So this man wants to he wants to take us back to the old narrative. But we are saying no. We are already in love with the South. We want them to marry us. That is what the issue is now. So they are just playing the game that used to be there. But I'm assuring you, it's not going to make any sense. It is a big joke.
Okay. Are you not worried that while he was making those comments, those he was addressing, as it appears here, said nothing?
Kaduna, Kebbi, Sokoto, Bauchi, Gombe. Tell me what you drive, the benefit you will drive by voting Obi. Just tell me one single benefit.
Would you respond to this? Let's say that those he was addressing there that couldn't speak are now listening to you. What benefit would you drive, or would they drive, by voting Obi in your view? And again, before you do, I want you to also first respond. Why do you think that those he was speaking to, everybody appeared not just to say anything? Were they in agreement with the views?
To start with, if you want a useful idiot, anywhere you will get. But if the useful idiot in the minority or in the majority, I think that's the biggest question that needs to be asked. In the East, where PeterObi comes from, in Anambra State, in his village, I can assure you that if Tinubu wants a diehard there, he's going to get.
Sure.
If Atiku wants a diehard there, he's going to get. So I cannot tell you that within the Middle Belters, there are no useful idiots that can be used, which is already the cliché they always do. We have a sitting governor here in the Middle Belt who, by all intent and purposes, is comfortable dancing the dance in the market square of this particular scenario. I can tell you another governor in the Southeast who is equally in fraternity with the APC government and believing that that is where his meal ticket comes from. So he's dancing. So those people obviously will continue dancing the dance they want to dance. But the question is, are they in the majority?
Okay. They are not in the majority. Now, it brings me to the question again. What is it, according to his question, that they are going to gain from by voting Obi? I'll let him say that himself again.
Drive, the benefit you will drive by voting Obi. Just tell me one single benefit.
Would you then mind responding to this question that he asked?
Well, I did mention that we in the Middle Belt, we are suffering from existential threat. Our existence is already threatened. And he is saying that the Obi voting him is like voting a Biafra who are now seeking their self-actualization of their whatever self-actualization. The question is that who is not? Is it the even when you get to the Hausas, apart from the Fulanis, the Hausas, they are equally saying that they are an independent nationality and they would rather want to vote Obi in order for them to exist. Because when you look at the people killed in Katsina, look at people killed in Sokoto, they are people from the Hausa communities and they have been speaking loud. It's just that people are refusing, people pretend not to hear. So if he is asking, what are we going to gain? We are going to gain the survival of our people as a people for the progress of Nigeria as a country. Nigeria is a country, if properly governed, if not for people like them that have those their cliche of whatever and trying to create division based on religion, based on ethnicity, based on region, Nigeria is a beautiful place to live. And we are looking forward for somebody who will be able to make that happen. Ironically, PeterObi, in his own mantra of giving back to the Nigerian people, their country, is enough selling point for us in the north. Both the Middle Belt, both the Hausa communities of the Arewa North. If there's anybody that is against that, probably the Fulanis. But I don't believe that the progressive Fulanis are in line with that particular cliche. I don't believe that the traditional rulers, the emirs, who even there is for the fact that they are Fulanis, I don't believe that they believe in that particular narration. And I believe that Mahdi, because of political exigencies or whatever he thinks he wants to get, he can go ahead pushing that narrative, but we have surpassed that. We have passed that. It's not part of, it doesn't even make sense to us. And for even the audience, I can assure you, after that particular meeting, the story we had transferred after, I think we leave that to those who want to go and dig.
Okay, so would you want to, when you talk about such things, it tickles my ear. I want to hear more. What happened after he made that speech?
Well, it's like they fell out of a trance.
Hmm.
And they gave back to him what should be given. But you see, the man who gave you the video only gave you the video of what he wants you to hear.
Is there any way I can get the reaction of the people? I love such stories. Let me break it to the world. We'll
They
talk
will
after
try
this.
to track one or two of them. Probably they should appear in your program if they want to.
Yes, please. Let's take that offline. I mean, I want to pursue that line of thought. Now, in line with what we are saying, what role do you think religion? Because that's one thing he's trying to drive at. What role do you think religion and tribe is going to play in this 2023? Vis-a-vis, looking at it the way it is, it appears the APC is hell-bent on religion, why the PDP, it's a kind of, trying to drive through the tribal narrative, because Mahdi is representing that tribal narrative that is emanating from the PDP camp.
Well, you take it or leave it. In terms of mobilization, you need some lines to which you hinge on. So in politics, religion is a line of mobilization. Tribe is a line of mobilization. community that you belong is equally a line of mobilization. So there are interest group that satisfy a particular political cliché. They too they are lines of mobilization. So in a political scenario where elections will take place, even in America, even in the UK, people look at those lines of mobilization and utilize it for their advantage. It is commonly said that the immediate past president of the United States uses the evangelical divide of the Christendom as a line of mobilization. So religion will continue playing what they should be playing. They are a line of mobilization. They should be able to drive their people on the path of progress, because whoever becomes president, whoever becomes governor, whoever becomes senators, House of Reps and House of Assembly members, chairmen of local government, councillors, they determine even the comfort of their worship. So they should take interest. Before now, it is only the Muslim religion that tends to understand that, until of recent, that the Christian religion is equally realizing that no, they need to give a direction. They need to participate in the process, and which is the right thing to do, because the religion as it is preach high level of morality. So if they participate, they will guide people to vote people of high moral standing, and that is what you need for us to have people who we are going to give them our commonwealth to manage. You need people who have high moral standing. That is why PeterObi is a darling to the Nigerian progressive, because he had an opportunity just like all the other governors, but he acted differently. He realized that what was for him is a trust, a public trust, and he did what he thinks is necessary to maintain that public trust. And that is why people now go back, check his history. So if religion or the religious bodies are using example of people like that, even that as a senator, if you check back on his, you take your time to understand him and understand how his political position is, you realize that he too stood above board. Now, if the religious people want good things to happen in the country where they belong, in the society where they superintend over, they should participate and help the people understand the best way and the best drive for a progressive country.
Okay. Now, it's still staying on that trajectory of religion. We had Babasha Lawa responds to this notion of a Muslim ticket. And as it appears, as you have said, it is a line of engagement that is using the religious line. Now, obviously, you do not have the full details, but from your own perspective, from where you stand today as someone from the middle belt, what do you think and how do you feel this decision by the APC to field in presidential Muslim, his deputy Muslim, considering where Nigeria is today as a nation?
Well, let me situate it this way. There is this narration that the North is predominantly Muslim territory. So, Tinubu being a Muslim from the Southwest, he has to pick a vice president from the North. And since politics is about number, and that narrative that Muslims are a majority, getting a Muslim to deputize for him, he will get that number, and that will scale him over. Now, that narrative is the problem. When we say we have northern minorities, that northern minorities is talking about the ethnic configuration of the northerners in the north. It's not talking about the Christian or Muslim divide in the north, because Christians in the north are not a minority. I think that is the point that many people always mix. Because when we keep saying that the northern minorities, the impression is that because the northern minorities are Christians, so people mistaking it to say the northern Christian minorities. No, in the north, 19 states of the north, I can bet it to you that if I am a statistician, so I'm speaking based on numeric understanding, that for a best fact, we will be 50-50, if not Christians have been more than Muslims in their population. So that narration is the full narration that went over, and then Tinubu bought. Now the Christians in that his party, where the Babachi Lawan and Yakub, they know that they are not a minority when it comes to that divide. And that is why they refuse to take that rubbish in terms of narration. The issue here is this. Politics is about interest and is about winning. And when you get the wrong information, you use it as the basis of your calculations. So that calculation that was given to Tinubu is not correct, is not right, it will not give him any vote, and I can assure you he has already lost.
Wow. So it means that, many people call Tinubu the alpha and omega, and many say he is a master strategist. But here you are sitting on Engineer Media TV this evening saying that that master strategist has got this one wrong.
Not only did he get it wrong, it means that probably him as a master strategist have reached his end of the road. That's the implication. Ordinarily, if he's a strategist, there is no way a strategist that have data in his custody will make such a foul mistake.
But if he worked, sorry, let me say this. If he worked in Kaduna under El-Rufai, why is it not going to work for him?
Well, you see, that is part of the calculation that was used to present that picture. Kaduna, as it is like 52% are Muslims, while 48 are Christians. So invariably, when you look at that computation and put it together, you will find out that they are more or less like a 50-50. But the only problem Kaduna always have, which I was part of the strategies that did for Yakoa, and we used it and we won. What Kaduna people don't understand is this. The useful idiot go in their significant number to add to the vote of that place on the ground that whether they pull their votes together, they will not win. So let me just join these people so that if they win, I am given a position. So that was the narration that is ongoing. The lady that was picked is from the ethnic minority, but she is a Muslim. But because some people who are related to her, probably by ethnic inclination, since it's a line of mobilization, they'll say, it's our sister, let's go and vote. So, but in the Muslim-dominated area, those scenarios don't happen because elections are always held on a Saturday. On a Friday at the mosque, a direction is given. And whether you are in AYZ party, you follow that direction because they have schooled the master of using religion to give a direction that satisfies what will be to the better good of their community. But we, within the Christian, we don't have that scenario. It's only on a Sunday after the election, we now realize our folly and we will say, we will laugh. And that has been the scenario. So I can assure you that that kind of scenario will not happen. It's not only Kaduna, it's Niger State is one of them. You forgot that since the advent of this particular dispensation, the Fourth Republic, Niger State always have Muslim Christian as governor and deputy. What happened now? It's the same scenario because even you look at Nasarawa, if you joke, the same scenario will happen there because religion is a very strong persuasive issue for the Muslim community. But for Christian community, we are more or less a laissez-faire kind of scenario. Religion is not having strong foot because of the moral inclination that just do the right thing. No, people have rights. So because of that, that defines how we move or how we vote. And that has always been our issue.
But you just alluded to Yakowa, that is the former governor of Kaduna State that died in chopper crash with, General Azazi or Aziza. Now, and you said you were involved in that election. What strategy did you people apply that got that Christian tickets to work in Kaduna?
The same strategy they apply to always get their way. Don't forget that Yakowa was in the seat as a governor after the demise of, after Namadi was moved to be vice president.
Yeah.
So he became the governor. So the same carrot that they always use for our people, we decided to use it, and then we got the day. So it's just a simple thing. Politics is all about playing your game correctly, doing the right thing at the right time to the right persons, and then why not? We are there.
Wow. Thank you very much, Pamson. It's been a wonderful and interesting conversation with Pamson Dagyat, the chairman of Coalition for PeterObi, and also the national coordinator for Southern and Middle Belt Alliance, SaMBA. Pamson is a seasoned and a pioneer statistician in Plateau State, and also a former commissioner in Plateau State. Pamson, it's been my pleasure to have you here on Ginger Media TV. I hope you avail me more time next that will come here to talk more.
The pleasure is mine, and rest assured, I'm available for you when you need me. Thank you.
Okay, so before I let you go, Pamson, what do you have in stock for Nigerians? What are you planning for the 1st October? I hear and I read that the Obedience are planning to lock down the whole federation and internationally on the 1st of October, which is the next Saturday.
Well, as the leader of the support group, Nigerians are asking us to give them the opportunity on a free working day, since always 1st October is a free working day, to equally come out and show their support. And of course, it is their demand. And it is, we have no choice but to allude to their demand. Not only that, don't forget the significance of 1st October. That is when we have our independence. This time around, Nigerians are seeking for independence. New independence. Independence from the kind of bad leadership that we had before now. Independence for the massive insecurity that is ongoing, unabated. We are asking for independence for survival in a country that is our own. And because we are true Nigerians, and that is the point here, we are true Nigerians. We have no other place. Like we in the Middle Belt, you cannot get a bureau man in any place outside our geographical space, except he is there on tourism, or he's there working, or he's on business. The same thing with an Igbo man. Igbo man is all over the world. But if anywhere he is there as a tourist or as a businessman. The place he called his own is Nigeria. So we are Nigerians. We are the owners of this land. And we are indigenous. And we are the sons of the soil. So people want to come out and secure their independence by massive open declaration, prayers. It's going to be more of a prayer walk and a declaration walk. Muslims and Christians are coming together. Those who don't even believe in any religion, that believe in morality, are equally coming together. Every sane progressive in this country is coming out to prove that Nigeria has come, the time has come for the independence of this country. That is what will happen in 1st October.
Thank you very much. And that's a very fine place to anchor that. Like I said before, thank you once more for being my guest this evening. Thank you.
Pleasure is mine.
So thank you, everyone. My name once more, Maazị Ezeoke here. If you're joining me for the first time, please click on the subscribe button and also follow us, share the video. It's been a pleasure having Pamson Dagyat here with me in the studio. You know, these are things we've been saying here. We must keep pushing, we must keep educating the, the Nigerian space, the African continent. At the end of the day, information, they say, liberates the mind. I am Maazị Ezeoke. Please, as I said before, is only a plea. Subscribe, share, and like. If you wish to support this platform, you can also do that using the super sticker, using the super chart, or as you see in the lower third. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening. I am Maazị Ezeoke. Peace out.